Hello fun friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hey, I'm Savannah. On the channel I talk about the fun side of minimalism, and today we're doing a little digital declutter, a little digital detox. I'm going to walk you through 25 things you can declutter from your iPhone right now. Before I start going through the declutter list, I wanted to read you guys a few statistics about Americans and our cell phone usage. The facts are interesting. They're a little bit alarming. I'd like to think they don't apply to me, but they definitely do. Okay, you guys, Americans check their phones how many times a day? 144. 89% of Americans say they check their phones within 10 minutes of waking up. I'm surprised that's not 2 minutes. 75% of Americans say they check their phones within 5 minutes of receiving a notification. So if he's not texting you back, he probably saw it, statistically speaking. And then this last one, you guys, it is that 60% of Americans sleep with their phone. This one strikes a chord with me because I am one of them. The goal today is to get off my phone, but I will say I'm trying not to guilt trip myself. Our phones are addicting not because we are weak, it is because they are addicting. They're literally built that way. So let's get into it. Let's get started. The first declutter item I have for you is simply delete your apps. Not every single one, but delete all the apps you are not using. I know sometimes when you go to delete them, you're like, oh, maybe I'll use it again. You know how easy it is to re-download an app? They make it as easy as possible. And if you don't feel super good about fully deleting an app, what you can do is remove it from your home screen. But if you go to the search bar on your iPhone, you can search the name of the app and find it that way. The next move you can make to simplify your iPhone is to take your remaining apps that you have kept and move them into folders. So I'll have like a finance folder with my banking. You can do like entertainment apps, whatever categories you can come up with to just provide a little extra barrier to discourage you from mindlessly clicking on an app when you're bored. This next one is to turn off almost all of your notifications. If you're trying to get anything done, getting into that flow state, studying, at work, or just trying to be present in the moment, it's really hard when notifications are popping up. Again, it's like that slot machine thing. It's super addictive. So go into your settings and disable notifications. You can do all notifications kind of as a blanket. Also, you can update the notification settings for each individual app. They have a lot of different options there. They want you to keep them on. So I feel like Apple provides a few different ways to have like fewer notifications or have them be less bold, but I highly recommend not having any. Ooh, I love this next one. This is not something that I did for a very, very long time, which is delete old text threads. If they're not from someone super sentimental, I just delete all text messages, especially with those heavy conversations, these back and forths that you're rereading, embarrassing messages, drunk texts, just delete them and get them out of your life. This next one is to delete old contacts in your contact list, old coworkers, acquaintances, an old hookup. You don't need those names lingering in there. I love having just a short, tight contact list of all my favorite peeps. And I feel like the worst thing, the most awkward thing that can come from deleting the contacts is just getting a random text from a weird number every few years and you just have to ask who it is, which for me is worth having the shorter contact list. This next declutter item is to delete old voicemails. Of course, keep any voicemails that are sentimental to you, but I pretty much delete every other voicemail. They take up a lot of space. Luckily, our phones tell us, there's always that person that you call and the voice inbox is full. Get ahead of the game on that and create some space on your phone. Okay, this next one may or may not apply to you. It is deleting old phone alarms. I didn't realize that not everyone has a bunch of alarms from their history on their phone. Some people just go into one alarm and change the time every time. I was not one of those people. I am not one of those people. So if you're like me, you may want to go into your alarms and just delete all of your old ones out and just have it be a clean slate so the next time you go to set alarm, it's not as chaotic and overwhelming with all these past wake up calls, and instead you can start anew. Kind of similar to alarms, next go in and delete old weather locations. I really only like having on my current weather location. I know people like to have on, the location of where they're going on vacation next or their hometown. But for me, I'm really trying harder to be in the present where I am. So daydreaming about the weather in New York or LA, I feel like it just makes me have more FOMO. Way lesser degree than like being on Instagram, but it's kind of still in that same vein. Next, we'll be going into the old Apple wallet and decluttering any old expired cards that you may have. When I went into my wallet, I found some random old like museum museum pass cards and a Zoom membership. So go in there, delete any old cards that you're no longer using. And then when you go to use your wallet next at the store, it will be slightly less frantic. It's just all the buttons and the screen going dark and lighten it up. You know, just make it a little bit easier on yourself. So it's like boom, boom, click, click, done. There you go. Next, let's hop into our streaming service apps, your Hulu, Netflix, HBO, whatever you're using, and delete all of your downloads. Just clear out the old stuff. Even if the shows have expired, they still remain kind of grayed out. It's just a lot to look at. So clear all those out, have a clean slate for next time you need to download a show or a movie. In the same vein, let's next declutter podcast episodes. I don't know why, but I find that I have hundreds and hundreds of these downloaded episodes. I don't know if it's an auto download thing. I need to go check my settings or if I'm just always clicking on things while I'm in the app. Anyway, I cleared all of those out. So check your podcast app. Maybe the same thing is happening to you. I just use Apple Podcasts, or go into whatever you use for your podcast. Why does it sound like a podcast ad? Or wherever you find your podcast, and delete the downloads. Speaking of downloads, why not head over to our general download folder. Anytime you download a picture, a form, from your email, from a text, they usually all fall under this downloads folder. And I don't know about you, but I find that when I download something and need it that day, whether I'm printing it or sending it on to someone else, I don't think I've ever gone back to my downloads to try to access that same file another day or another week, like ever. This next declutter item to create space to breathe in your life is to turn off all voice listening on your apps. I personally do not use Siri. Maybe you do. You love your girl Siri. There's so many apps that are just secretly listening in. I'm definitely not paranoid. I don't think the government or whoever cares what I'm up to. But at the same time, I really don't like getting all those super creepy, hyper personalized ads. I find them to be really distracting and kind of just annoying. So just to simplify my life, I just turn off all listening from all of my apps. Similar to apps listening into your conversations, I recommend disabling the location tracking features of all of these different apps. I feel like most of them, they want to have them on. It helps the app, it helps their marketing. I've worked in marketing, I've worked for big retail companies, and we want to know how close you are to a store, what other stores you're shopping at. It's creepy, you guys. It's all part of the game, you know, so turn off your location tracking. Again, I'm not paranoid about it. I just feel like it's my own private information, and I don't like these apps knowing exactly where I'm at. Delete your work email account off of your phone. And if this feels absolutely impossible, I would recommend turning off notifications, or at least limiting your notifications. And that 100% used to be me. My phone was glued to my hand. I was checking work emails all day, all night. I would check them in the middle of the night when I got up to pee. And then I would start having these stress, anxiety dreams all morning until I woke up and would just leave for work in the absolute worst mood. So figure out what works for you, what's possible with your job. But I would definitely recommend setting up some type of boundary that works for you to create the space to actually get a better night's rest. This next declutter item on the list to foster a better night's rest is to create bedtimes for certain apps or just general use on your phone. For me, I've mentioned before, I'm a big YouTube watcher, and if I'm feeling a bit down or just any kind of negative emotion, I'll definitely lean on YouTube as my crutch, and I will just watch it into the night. If you're on TikTok, I feel like you definitely will be able to relate. I don't always get off when it reminds me, but it's definitely like a reminder, like this is what you want for yourself. This is better for you and your sleep. So set those up, and I think it will help you get to bed easier. So this next one I have admittedly never done, but I'm really curious to see what it's like, which is going grayscale on your phone. Apparently, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's a lot less intriguing and inviting to be on your phone when there is not as much Technicolor. Grayscale, baby. This next nighttime update you can make on your phone is turning on dark mode, or night mode, I believe it's called. Yeah, night shift. You can set up the time frame that you want to have this dark mode on your screen. So instead of things being like light gray or white around different apps you're using, will be darker colors, so it's a little bit easier on your eyes. At first I was rebelling against it. I didn't really like how it looked, but I have noticed having that on at night really does help my eyes and help me ease to bed more easily. My next setting recommendation for you to help your sleep is to set up your do not disturb. I feel like Apple has pushed this more and more, which is really great. I find that I find it in my friends' chats with them, like my text threads. So you can turn on do not disturb any old time. I feel like most of us do it like when we're at the movie theater or a show, but you can actually also go into your settings and set up your do not disturb for a certain time period every single night. And I actually haven't done that. I don't get that many notifications, but if you're a person that does receive a lot of notifications, for instance, you do need your work email email on your phone, this could be a great option for you. Disabling the raise to wake feature. Maybe you have never heard of this, but you have definitely experienced this if you have an iPhone. It is the auto setting. So if your phone is just sitting on the table, wherever, and you pick it up, boom, the screen turns on. It's just what it does. And if you have notifications on, there's a lot of exciting things there, and then bam, you're using your phone, even if you were just meaning to move your phone, not even to use the phone. So disable that setting, raise to wake, turn it off, and you'll be a lot less distracted by your phone when you weren't even meaning to really use it. The next time saver, space saver on the list is clearing out, deleting any non-meaningful or usable photos and videos. For me, it's screenshots. Also for YouTube, I take a lot of photos and videos. Same for me with Poshmark. I love going into my camera roll and just clearing out anything that I will most likely not reference in the future. And then that way, when I'm accessing my camera roll and just sharing a moment with friends and family, it's less of a crazy cluster. The next declutter item I have for you guys are your notes. I personally use the Notes app every dang day for grocery lists, brainstorming ideas for YouTube, and most of those notes, after I write them, I don't look at them ever again. So get in there, delete some notes, make them disappear, and you'll never have to think about them again. This next one is something new for me that I discovered recently. My friend showed me how to add location names to Google Maps. If you do a lot of driving like me, especially in new cities that you don't know super well, it is so nice to have those pinned locations. I was in the school of thought that just typing in the address was just as fast. Do I really need these settings and pins saved? But let me tell you, I cannot express how much faster it is just to click home, especially if you have a crying kid in the car, it's hot outside, you're trying to turn the air conditioning on. It's just one less thing to do, and I've really enjoyed it. I believe this next one is mostly used for children as I was Googling it, but it is the feature on your iPhone called downtime, and this is essentially blocking out apps, internet usage, whatever you want it to be to help you achieve what you're working on, to focus a little bit more. I think it's similar to a do not disturb. I haven't really used downtime in the past. Maybe you guys know more of its capabilities or functions, so check out downtime. It could be a good option for you. You guys, this is the last iPhone thing to declutter with me, and this also applies to your laptop. It is to unsubscribe, report spam, and there are just so many restaurant stores that grab you and just automatically add you to their newsletters, to their marketing, and it is my absolute biggest pet peeve in the world. So get in there, unsubscribe, and then I am saving that time I would otherwise spend swiping, deleting them away, and better using that time for something more fulfilling, beneficial, creative, whatever you want to do. And that, my friends, concludes my list of 25 items you can declutter on your iPhone right now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're feeling calm, at peace. For me, when I declutter my phone, declutter my laptop, it feels like I have decluttered my mind. It makes so much time and space to focus on what's important to me. So I hope you have time to do what's important to you today, something fun and creative. Get out there. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Have the best rest of your day. Love you. Bye.